I just think sometimes for us, when we lose a lot of those physical battles, the effort plays, the loose balls, the rebounding battles, that's our identity. And sometimes that can affect the flow of the rest of your game.
Oh, man. I am grumpy today. I'm grumpy. I'm crabby and grumpy today. Oh, I was woken up at 5 a.m. by helicopters hovering around my building in this crazy city of Los Angeles. Then my shower wasn't working. Then there's leaf blowers and barking dogs and I can't get any peace and I'm trying to shoot and there's street sweepers going by and the Heat lost! Not one but two 30-point triple doubles. With Dwayne Wade in the building. Come on! And I'm sitting there thinking to myself when we're down, whatever, 17, 20, Christian Braun. It's Braun. B-R-A-U-N. What are you doing pronouncing your name Brown? It's not B-R-O-W-N. Your last name's B-R-A-U-N. It's Christian Braun. And honestly, it's Tyler Herro. It's not Hero. I've told you, I'm grumpy. You should just stop watching now. I am crabby today, let me tell you. And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this basketball game. And I'm thinking to myself, who would help us right now? I know you're thinking, Cody Zeller. No. Because Cody Zeller, I know all of you are hating on Cody Zeller, my main man, but who had the best plus minus tonight? Cody Zeller, +4. Let's go, Cody. Drew an offensive foul on Jokic. It was a flop, but who cares? They called it an offensive foul. Cody. But no, I wasn't thinking that Cody Zeller could help us. Maybe you're thinking Tyler Herro. Not Hero, Herro. Who named his kid Harlem for some reason, even though he's from Wisconsin. That's not my business. Hope he comes back. Maybe he'll come back. Apparently, word on the street is he's supposed to have, let me check my notes here. He's supposed to have a full contact workout today, according to Coach Spoelstra. So maybe he'll be back Friday. But that's not who I'm thinking of. You know who I'm thinking of? Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard! Out here doing interviews talking about how he wants to come to the Heat.
Miami, obviously. Miami is the obvious one. And Bam is my dog. Bam is my dog, for real.
And I'm sitting there thinking, Damian Lillard would look really good right now in a Heat uniform. He'd look really good right now because he probably would be hitting shots. Damian Lillard would probably be scoring the basketball. But we shouldn't even think like that. Shouldn't think like that. Shouldn't get your hopes up. We have this team that we have now, and I love these guys, but man, did they not want to play basketball today. But hey, man, shout out to the Nuggets, man. I mean, they were great. Jokic and Murray just out here making history. Just insane stats. Insane. Murray, 12 for 22. Jokic, 12 for 21. Murray, 12 for 22. 3 for 6 from 3. 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 34 points. Jokic, 32 points, 21 rebounds. It helps because we're missing every damn shot. 10 assists. They absolutely dominated us on rebounds, 58-33. Disgusting. They only... The Nuggets only... The Nuggets only made 5 three-pointers. That's frightening. They only made 5 three-pointers. Points in the paint. We lost 60-34. It's a bunch of malarkey. Something dawned on me. And I thought to myself, of course the Miami Heat didn't show up to play basketball today. They're tied 1-1. Of course they want to go down 2-1 because they're a bunch of psychopathic masochists. And they only play basketball well when their season is on life support. They're in a position where it's pretty much a must-win game because if you go down 3-1, I mean, forget about it. They're not going to want to go up 2-1 against the Nuggets. They're going to want to lose this game, have their backs against the wall, and then they're going to play great Friday, and it's going to be 2-1. And, oh, cool, I got to shut this off now because there's a street sweeper coming. Overall, just abysmal statistics by us. We shot 37% from the field to the Nuggets 51%. One thing about us, though, we get a ton of shots up against this team. We took 92 field goal attempts. We took 35 three-point attempts to their 18. We shot 31% from three. They shot 27. Got killed on rebounds. We only had 4 turnovers. That's fun. That's fun. That's a positive. And points in the paint. Disgusting. 60-34. Gross. Bam had 17 rebounds. That's fun. Jimmy had 28 points. That's fine. Bam was 7 for 21. Jimmy 11 for 24. Gabe, I mean, what on earth did Gabe Vincent do to Tony Brothers? Tony Brothers just had it out for him. A couple of those fouls on Gabe were just, to say they're questionable is an understatement. When that happens to you as a player, you can't, it's hard for you to get into your groove. And that was the kind of game where, like, we needed Gabe to step up. We needed that third guy, that X Factor third guy, along with Jimmy and Bam, to step up and have a big game. We did not get that tonight from anybody. But overall, like, our starters really struggled. Kevin Love only ended up playing 16 minutes. Max only had 3 points. Gabe got into foul trouble. He wasn't able to get into his groove. He was 2 for 10. And we just really did not play Heat basketball. Spo said it in the post-game interview that it was one of those games we had no identity. It was like, it felt like one of those bad regular season games. I'll run down the game for you guys, but I'm going to keep it fast because it's so depressing, because you go down this first quarter and even the second quarter and it's like, yay, things are okay. And then, like, the second half comes along and it's like, it's misery from there out. So, we started out pretty well. Even Kevin Love, boom, hit that 3, drew an offensive foul, and then it's like, Bam started off great too, was aggressive on offense. He's still hitting that great mid-range. It's weird. It's like everything that worked for us in game 2, we didn't do. We decided to, like, force Jokic to put the ball on the floor and be aggressive offensively in game 2, cut off all of his passing lanes, shut down Murray, do our zone, be super aggressive, play Heat basketball, get in the mud, do our full court press, all that stuff. And then we kind of just didn't do it. The best part of this game really was at the top of the second quarter when Caleb went nuts and had like 8 points in 1 minute. And there was that one play when Kyle stripped Jokic and he fell down and went on the fast break and everybody was going nuts, and I think we were up 2, maybe we brought it up to like 4, something like that. That's the part that needs to go back and watch that tape of that chunk of time and be like, what were we doing here? And I'm pretty sure that's when they were in the zone, they were in the press, but that was the part of the game that felt the best. And we were playing with an identity. We were playing like the Miami Heat. And then the second half came around and poof. I don't know what happened. A lot of Heat Nation wants to see some Haywood on Jamal Murray. Haywood Highsmith had solid moments against Jason Tatum in the Celtics series. He had great moments in that first game, in game 1. I don't know. I don't know why we haven't seen a little more of him. Maybe we will on Friday. We'll see. That's a mystery to me. That's a Spo thing. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. You see the name of this channel. I don't know that stuff. And then Caleb had that awesome run where he had like 8 points in a minute, and that was nice to see Caleb come back. And then Caleb was kind of like disappeared. Ended up with only 10 points in 32 minutes. Just a rough game, man. Just a rough game. I don't know. And Jimmy was scoring a lot at this point, and that really works when Jimmy is aggressive offensively and scoring baskets, because he draws so many people to him that he can kick it to guys for them to get open shots. And he missed a lot of shots that he shouldn't have missed. And once again, I can't help but think that he's struggling with something. I even noticed, if you go back and watch his post-game interview, and I'm like way reading into this, but when he gets up out of his chair, I've seen him do this a few times lately. When he gets up, he winces in pain. Probably reading into it too much because he did just play 40 minutes of an NBA basketball game. I don't know. I just can't help but to think that Jimmy is playing hurt. And maybe it's that ankle, maybe it's something else. I don't know. And I know Jimmy doesn't like to be, he always says that he's not a scorer. He likes to be more of a facilitator, but look, he's going to need to put on the super cape at least 1 game, 2 games this series and have a big 40-ish plus point game. And I think him and Bam just need to start playing more minutes. There's only, 3, 4, 5 games left? You guys, Jimmy and Bam got to start playing, 44, 45 minutes. At this point in the second quarter, this was around probably the 5-minute mark. Murray and Jokic scored or assisted on 40 out of the 45 Nuggets points. And it probably stayed that way for the whole game. I mean, if you have 2 players that score 34 points and 10 assists and 32 points and 10 assists, I don't know, I'm not going to do the math, but that comes out to like so many points just that the 2 of them generated. And then you have another awful call on Gabe Vincent. I mean, like, Aaron Gordon runs into poor Gabe, and they call a foul on Gabe. They had it out for Gabe Vincent tonight, man. I wrote, hope we see more press and zone. Didn't really. Will we see Highsmith? No, no, we won't until garbage time. I wrote, Heat need to get hot on offense and contain Jokic Murray. Nah, didn't happen. Try and keep Nuggets out of the paint. Didn't happen. Ugh. Third quarter starts and it was awful. And you know what? Since I'm so crabby today, I'm going to be really petty. The Miami Heat crowd, can you guys get back into your seats by the time the third quarter starts? This is an NBA Finals game. You really can't sit still for a couple hours? You can't just pee before the game? You have to go and get sushi and martinis and whatever Miami people are doing at halftime. It's got to be empty. The stadium has to be empty at the start of the third quarter. I mean, and they were flat. He came out flat. I'm not saying that the audience would have helped it, but if you had a cheering audience there instead of an empty stadium at the beginning of the third quarter, maybe we wouldn't have gone down 11 like that. I told you, I'm very crabby today. I'm very petty. I'm very crabby. And I was woken up at 5 a.m. today with a helicopter hovering above my apartment. We fell into this weird thing in the third quarter where it seemed like it was Jimmy and Bam trying to go shot for shot against Jokic and Murray, and that's not gonna work for us. That can work for the Nuggets because Jokic and Murray are such a powerhouse offensively. That's not gonna work with Jimmy and Bam. We gotta win as a team. And, I'm not blaming Jimmy and Bam because no one else was really stepping up. And that's when you really miss Tyler Hero and Damian Lillard. But I'm kidding. We had it down to 10. Jimmy hit a 3, brought it 70 to 60, and then boom, Jokic comes back and hit a 3. We're losing 44 to 24 in the paint at this point. And then boom, it's down 16. The crowd is invisible. With 2 minutes left in the quarter, we only had 14 points in the whole quarter. And the problem is too, it's like we let the Nuggets play Denver Nuggets basketball. I mean, they played great defense, of course. But we let the Nuggets do the infamous Jokic Murray 2-man game that no one can figure out how to stop. I thought we kind of figured out how to stop it in game 2, and then we forgot how to stop it. So I don't know. Hopefully they go back and make some adjustments. The Nuggets played with an identity tonight. They played true Denver Nugget basketball, and we played bad, in a game that we lost to the Charlotte Hornets. Regular season Heat basketball, not NBA Finals basketball that beat the Bucks and the Knicks and the Celtics basketball. And who was the only team that beat the Nuggets in Denver this entire playoffs. And then we went on a nice little 5-0 run to close the quarter, and I was like, okay, there's hope. And the fourth quarter was just a lot of false hope, a lot of we're gonna make a little run here, and then it was dashed so quickly. We had certain lineups during this game where I was just like, why I don't get this lineup right now. I don't understand this matchup. I was very confused at times of this game where there were these stretches where we just had Inspo's right. We just had no identity. They're just out there playing. So Jokic starts the fourth. If Jokic is in the game, Jimmy and Bam should be in the game. Christian Braun, 13 points in 17 minutes. We're down 21 at this point. We're losing 60 to 24 in the paint. We're getting out-rebounded 48 to 24. And then we go on a nice little 7-0 run. Bring it back down to 14. And at this point, Jokic had 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists with 5 minutes left. That's what we're up against here. And we just seemed flat. We weren't doing the zone. Our defense was weak. We weren't doing the press. We seemed flat. No one's hitting shots. Strange game. Just a strange game. Then we put in our reserves. The same thing happens in game 1 where we put in our second string, the reserves. All of a sudden, these guys bring it down to single digits. We get it down to 9 points. And I know like the Nuggets took their foot off the gas, but it's still crazy. But Duncan Robinson, man, that guy can hit some threes. I mean, that dude can launch some three-pointers. And I love nothing more than seeing Duncan shoot a three-pointer and the ball goes, he puts so much arc on the ball that the ball goes out of the frame. You know that a ball has some arc on it when it goes out of the frame of your TV and comes back down and goes in. He puts some serious arc. Whereas like Jimmy, when Jimmy shoots a three, it's like, he does that line drive three. Kind of like how his dad would do. What? We got down to 9. Bam could have brought it to 7. He hit that. He had a open jump shot, but he came up short on it, and then that was that. But like it was a crazy little run. And then Adonis Haslam came in. He set a nice little record for being the oldest guy ever to play in the NBA Finals. It's all the obvious stuff. What am I supposed to say here? You gotta get rebounds. You gotta stop the Jokic and Murray two-man game. Points in the paint, rebounds. The role players need to be better. Everybody needs to be better. You gotta play with an identity. You gotta get the 50-50 balls. You gotta play like the Miami Heat. You gotta play like the team that got you to where you are. Jimmy and Bam were fine, but you gotta be better than fine. You gotta be great. Are we gonna see some Haywood Highsmith? I hope so. We gotta try and be above 40% from the 3. Look, I know all this is so much easier said than done, and I'm well aware that this is a great team. Jokic and Murray, nobody's been able to figure these guys out. You gotta try and keep Jokic from having these monster triple-double kind of games. You gotta make his life hell. Get him into foul trouble, frustrate him, get a technical, get into a fight. You gotta go to war, you gotta get muddy. That's how you're gonna beat this team. You saw it in game 2. We need more from Gabe and Caleb. Jimmy and Bam need to play more minutes. I know I'm very crabby right now, I'm very grumpy, but I will say this. I hereby proclaim that I do believe Heat will win game 4. I believe it because the Miami Heat are a bunch of psychotic masochists that play best in these kind of situations. They're down 2-1. You know if you go down 3-1 that you're done. So I feel like when they're on life support, that's when they're like a cat with 9 lives. A lot of people are not happy with Spo this game. Yeah, I mean there were definitely we didn't really seem to have like a plan going into this game. Like game 2 it seemed like we had a plan. We made the big Kevin Love adjustment, and there was a plan, and we executed that plan very well. This game, it didn't seem like there was a plan or any kind of like execution happening. It was just weird. It's the players' fault just as much. So I'm not going to sit here and blame Spo. I don't know. A lot of people, after games like this, everybody looks to blame everybody. Sometimes you just don't have a good game, and the Nuggets had a really good game, and that just happens. Will we see more Duncan Robinson? I hope so. I'd like to see more Duncan. I'd like to see more Haywood Highsmith, but the question is, like, where does Haywood Highsmith fit into the rotation? Does he take Cody Zeller's minutes? How does that work with matchups? Does he chip into a little bit of Max's minutes or a little bit of Caleb's minutes? Does anyone know what's going on with Kyle? Is Kyle hurt? I don't know. He slipped at the end of the game. Hopefully Kyle's okay. That's another thing to worry about. So that's it. That's all I got. What do you want from me? I'm very grumpy. It was a bad game. It's been a crummy day. None of you probably even made it this far into the video. You probably are off watching some other fancy schmancy YouTuber, NBA person, YouTuber guy. But no, all kidding aside, I have a good feeling about Friday. I feel like the Heat are going to win. This is the kind of situations where they rise up and play their best. Feel like it's going to be 2-2 going back to Denver. I'll leave it with this. I'll leave you with Jimmy Butler falling out of a boat.
Whatever, bro. What? Get it! I'm hot! I'm mad!